Akira is a lonely virgin who has no interest in women until he tastes the spit of an emo baddie. From then on, his life completely changes as he becomes obsessed with her and instantly tries to rizz her up in hopes of exchanging more naughty fluids with her. It all begins when a mysterious emo girl named Mikoto transfers into Akira's class. The teacher tells her to sit next to Akira, who warmly welcomes and tells her to seek him out if she runs into any problem. Later, during lunch break, Akira finds Mikoto fast asleep until a couple of girls arrive asking her to eat lunch with them. However, she quickly tells them off, revealing she's in the middle of a naughty dream. With that, she goes back to napping, leaving Akira speechless. Once the class starts again, everyone is bored to death until Mikoto suddenly bursts into laughter. As everyone looks at her weirdly, she lightly reveals that she personally found something funny and just couldn't contain her laughter. From that day on, Mikoto is labeled as the weirdo and everyone avoids her like she has cooties. One day after school, Akira sees that everyone has left, but Mikoto is still sleeping in class. He approaches her to wake her up, and Mikoto lifts her head up with drool covering her table and face. This shocks Akira as he finally sees her eyes that are usually covered with hair and tells her to clean her face before going home. Once Mikoto leaves, Akira's attention drifts to the spit soup she left behind as he goes for a taste. Upon feeling the taste of the drool, Akira can't help but think that it's better than Sydney Sweeney's bathwater until he realizes how messed up this is and runs off. Later, during sports class, Akira suddenly collapses from a bad fever, and Mikoto mysteriously watches him while the boys carry him to the infirmary. The next day, the teacher reveals to everyone that Akira's fever is getting serious and he may not return to school anytime soon. That evening, Akira lazes around in his room when his sister tells him that someone has come to see him. He assumes it must be his friend and asks him to come up, but he is shocked when he sees Mikoto. She starts by asking him how he's doing, and when he nervously reveals that he's just under the weather, Mikoto bluntly states that what he has isn't a common cold. As he looks at her in confusion, Mikoto asks him if he swallowed her drool, which leaves him speechless. She then scoops out some of her spit with her finger and shoves it down Akira's mouth. Akira ends up getting lost in the sauce until Mikoto asks him how he feels. At that moment, he realizes his fever has gone down, which prompts Mikoto to reveal that he was going through a withdrawal after tasting her spectacular juice. And the reason why he's feeling fine is because he got a taste of it again. With that said, Mikoto turns to leave when he stops her and asks if her saliva had something in it that made him addicted. Mikoto bursts out laughing and tells Akira to stop watching conspiracy theories. Jumping on his bed, Mikoto turns all serious and tells Akira that he doesn't have a common cold, it's just that the moment he saw her eyes, he fell in love with her and is now lovesick. With that, Mikoto tells Akira that she's going home while he sits in his room, dumbfounded. The next day after school, Mikoto announces that they are walking home together. As they walk together in silence, Mikoto suddenly stops and tells Akira to lick her spit. When Akira hesitates, Mikoto reveals that if he doesn't do it, he'll go through the withdrawal again. So without further questions, Akira takes Mikoto's finger in his mouth, realizing that she was waiting for him all this time just so he wouldn't get sick again. As Mikoto turns to leave, she tells him that she'll be waiting for him after school tomorrow, which makes Akira smile. From that day on, this became their little routine, and before he knew it, Akira realized he was madly in love with Mikoto. So the next time they meet, he confesses his feelings, but Mikoto simply tells him to prove them through actions. Upon hearing this, Akira tries to kiss her, but Mikoto stops him, stating that he should express his love with originality. Now confused, Akira whines that he doesn't know how to do that, prompting Mikoto to assure him that she will wait for him no matter what. Touched by her words, Akira suddenly takes a picture of a girl from his wallet and reveals to Mikoto that he had been madly in love with her until now. After declaring that, he tears the picture apart and announces that he's Mikoto's man from now on. Suddenly, Mikoto vomits out a pool of saliva, informing Akira that when she's happy, her saliva starts overflowing. She then asks Akira if he is still a virgin, and once he says yes, Mikoto reveals the day she burst out laughing was because she heard a strange voice in her head, saying she will lose her V card to him. The next day at school, the boys rate which girl has the best Nyash in school, but all Akira can think about is his new girlfriend and her mouth juices. Later on, he asks his homie Yuino what he should do if he hypothetically gets a girlfriend. In response, Yuino says that he should ease into the relationship by holding hands. So after school, Akira tries to hold hands with Mikoto, who rejects him bluntly, stating there is no need for them to do corny things. With that, she walks ahead, making Akira realize why men need to have on the side. The next day at school, he tries to get advice from his virgin friend again regarding how he should woo a girl. Yuino looks at him quizzically, stating that this doesn't look like a hypothetical situation after all, which makes Akira nervous, so he tries to turn the question on Yuino, asking him if he's getting some. Yuino casually states that masters don't play the field, they teach the game, and with that, he tells Akira that before holding hands, he should establish communication since girls dig that. So as usual, after class, Akira swallows Mikoto's throat smoothie, but then asks her what her hobbies are. She tells him that it's scissors, confusing Akira until she tells him to hold a piece of cloth. As he does as told, Mikoto unleashes a pair of scissors from her undies and goes ham on the cloth. Once she is satisfied with her handiwork, she reveals to Akira that, since his name means camellia flowers, she transformed the cloth into one. Flabbergasted by the entire thing, Akira tweaks out and asks Mikoto why she even carries scissors in her peach protectors, causing her to reveal that she's Ino like that. Taken aback by her explanation, Akira then asks her if it was right for her to flash her undies to a man, but Mikoto assures him that it's fine as long as it's him. Once she leaves, Akira can't help but stare at her Nyash bouncing away, feeling accomplished for establishing communication with his shoddy. Later that night, Akira thinks about Mikoto's white peach protectors so much so that he ends up having a naughty dream where she shows up wearing nothing but her love shorts. After waking up to a crazy morning wood, Akira heads to school, where he asks Yuino what comes before communication and holding hands. Now sure that this gooner definitely has a girl, Yuino tells Akira that before those steps comes the greeting. Later in class, Akira can't help but mull over what Yuino said and recalls his first encounter with Mikoto, where he told her to come to him if she has a question. His thoughts then drift to her peach protectors again, which somehow makes him wonder if Mikoto has that gorilla grip. Later that day, Mikoto flashes a candy and asks him if he would like some. When he turns it down, Mikoto gobbles it up and tells Akira that they will be parting ways earlier than usual today. Despite his visible confusion, Mikoto just tells him that she will wait for him tomorrow in their usual spot. As Akira watches Mikoto go, he can't help but wonder if he did something to offend her since she didn't feed him her mouth gravy this time. All of a sudden, Mikoto returns. Taking out the candy from her mouth, she pops it in Akira's mouth and asks him if it's sweet. This gives Akira some major blue balls, causing him to grab Mikoto, who in response takes out her scissors and once again goes crazy with them. Once she is done proving why she should be lobotomized, she warns Akira to never grab her without asking. After she leaves, Akira is all pissy about Mikoto's behavior since his fragile ego can't take no for an answer. This also leads him to think that they can't behave more like couples with how Mikoto is like. The following day, Yuino hands Akira a couple of movie tickets, which gives him the idea of taking Mikoto out on a movie date. After school, Akira puts his plan in motion and asks Mikoto if she would like to go out with him on the weekend. To his dismay, she tells him that she already has plans and then proceeds to feed him her mouth goop. But this time, Akira shows her that he's not happy and asks if he's really her man. Once Mikoto confirms that he is, Akira states that they haven't done anything that couples normally do. However, Mikoto tells him otherwise, reminding him that they have their unique bond, and then flexes her spit-covered finger. She then tells Akira that this is their bond, and with that, she asks him to follow her so she can prove to him they are in a relationship, somewhere deep inside the forest. Mikoto leads Akira to a rundown building where she makes him sit on a chair. Once he does as told, she asks him to promise her one thing, that he will keep his eyes shut unless she tells him to open them. Now scared for his life, Akira gulps down in fear, but promises to keep his eyes shut. Once his eyes are closed, Mikoto tells him that the drool she is about to whip out is what they're feeding to angels in heaven, so he better buckle up. With that, she feeds Akira her spit syrup when suddenly, his heart starts to pound faster in his chest. Seeing him in this state, Mikoto tells Akira that he's going wild because she was going wild while feeding him the spit. With a tornado hitting his pants, Akira starts to bleed from his nose as he asks Mikoto why she was feeling freaky. Instead of telling him that she's standing with her tatas out, Mikoto states that they are connected through drool. After getting dressed, she tells Akira to open his eyes. Once they head out, Akira can't help but ask Mikoto what she would have done if he had broken his promise and opened his eyes. So she takes out his scissors and goes crazy, making him realize what would have happened if he had done her dirty. As they part ways, Akira can't help but sigh in relief that he didn't mess up and open his eyes. Later that night, Akira has yet another dream about Mikoto, but this time he uncovers her chamber of secrets. The next day, Mikoto finds Akira blushing and smiling to himself, so she asks him what's running through his mind. Since he can't tell her that she was tickling his pickle in his dream, Akira just tells Mikoto that it's a secret. Upon hearing that, she forces a finger in his mouth and then proceeds to taste his mouth cavity. Suddenly, her nose starts to bleed and she tells Akira that he is free to imagine her however he wants to. But that said, she wouldn't be wearing that fugly hat. Akira's eyes widen as he asks Mikoto if she knows what happened in the dream, but she shyly replies that it's a secret. After school, Akira feels upset that he couldn't hang out with Mikoto. When he enters the class, he is shocked to find his riskless friend, Yuino, locking lips with a petite baddie. Suddenly, Yuino realizes he's being watched by Akira in the doorway. He rushes toward him and asks if he saw him, and Akira admits that he saw everything and asks him if he is dating Oka. Yuino confesses that they have been dating since the first year and begs Akira to keep his relationship a secret. The next day, Akira cannot help but think about how nobody knows about Yuino smashing Oka in the classroom until he realizes that it's not like anyone knows about him and Mikoto. His attention then drifts toward Mikoto's lips, which makes him think that kissing must feel great. After school, he walks home with Mikoto, who suddenly stops and tells him that she wants to chill in the park. Akira agrees, and once they settle down, Mikoto reveals that she wants to do homework together. As they get started, Akira mentions how he walked in on Yuino and Oka smooching, but when Mikoto doesn't give him a genuine response, he becomes dejected. Suddenly, Mikoto asks him if he wants to kiss her. Startled, Akira tweaks out until he admits that he wants to explore her bubblegum pink lips. Upon hearing this, Mikoto begins to dig through her bag and unveils a test tube which she tells Akira to hold. Suddenly, Mikoto strikes a JoJo pose and then transforms into a hurricane. Once she is done, she blushes and asks Akira to hand her the test tube. With the tube in her hand, Mikoto begins to pour her mouth juices inside it and tells Akira to drink it when he goes to sleep. That night, Akira announces he is going to bed early. His sister smiles, knowing she'll find the sheet sticky with Akira's yogurt in the morning. Meanwhile, in his room, Akira unscrews the vial and licks Mikoto's drool and can't help but wonder why her tongue tonic tastes so sweet. As he falls asleep, Akira sees a dream where Mikoto and him are sharing candy through their mouths. After the act, he asks Mikoto in embarrassment if this counts as their first kiss. When she confirms it, he angrily tells her that their first kiss needs to have sincere feelings. The following day at school, Akira finds Mikoto dozing off. Seeing the table covered in her drool, he can't but wish to be reincarnated as a table in his next life. After classes, the two walk home together when Akira brings up the dream he had last night. Instead of replying to him, Mikoto tells her to follow her in the park. After finding a secluded spot, Mikoto asks him if he would like to kiss. Akira coughs and tells her that they should wait until they are able to properly understand their feelings. A smile forms on Mikoto's lips as she tells Akira that she feels the same. Seeing her full face, he can't help but wonder why a cute girl like Mikoto acts like a loon. However, Akira ultimately regrets saying no to a makeout session as he wonders how he is supposed to understand a woman's feelings. The next day at school, as he glances at Mikoto, he finds her doing a cool trick with her pencil. Wanting to understand her, he tries to mimic her, but ends up making a fool out of himself. After class, as Akira mulls over everything, he catches his classmate, Ogata, eyeing his girl, before he can tell him that only he has the right to watch Mikoto like a thirsty creep. Yuino grabs him and starts talking about some dumb cat while Ogata follows Mikoto out of the class. Approaching her, he grabs the dustbin from her hand, revealing that he'll help her out. Upon hearing this, Mikoto turns to leave when Ogata stops her and tells her not to go back. Now walking together, Ogata admits that he has been wanting to talk to her for a long time. With that, he asks her if she would like to go out with him. Later on, as the couple walk home together, Akira can't help but feel weird about Ogata, so he tries to talk about it when Mikoto tells him to eat her goop. Once he obeys, she reveals to him how Ogata proposed to her today, stating that he has always heard that weird girls give the best hawk tua since they don't have a family head. When she remains quiet, Ogata urges her to give it a try since dating isn't a big deal, and they can just start by going home together. After hearing the whole story, Akira asks Mikoto what she told Ogata in response. She replies that she told him to wait till tomorrow, which prompts Akira to state that he will personally go up to Ogata and tell him that they are already dating. However, Mikoto bluntly stops him and tells Akira not to meddle in her business. With that, she walks away, leaving Akira upset. That night, Akira tells his sister that he is off to bed, which once again makes her think that Akira would be choking his monkey all night long. Meanwhile, in his room, Akira becomes annoyed as he reflects on the whole situation. He thinks that since Ogata is always pimping them, Mikoto will likely go for him. The next morning, Akira returns to school, exhausted from all the worries. During the break, Ogata asks Mikoto to give him a reply, but instead, Mikoto tells him to close his eyes. Ogata reluctantly closes his eyes while Mikoto shoots a finger slathered in her saliva into his mouth. Startled by her behavior, Ogata instantly asks why she is behaving like his uncle. Ignoring his comment, Mikoto asks him how he feels. When Ogata reveals that he feels traumatized, but other than that he is fine, Mikoto tells him that even if he's the only man alive, she still won't ride his pony. Later that day, Akira finally asks what went down between her and Ogata. Mikoto bluntly tells him that she told Ogata she doesn't like him. Sighing in relief, he opens his mouth for his daily spit slurpee when his nose starts bleeding. As Akira tries to stop the bleeding, Mikoto then hands him a face mask, admitting she was supposed to wear it, but went commando instead. As Akira stares at her in disbelief, Mikoto explains she turned Ogata down because he doesn't understand her like he does, and now she finally feels like he's her boyfriend. On that note, the two happily walk home together. The next day, during lunch break, Akira finds Yuino smiling to himself. He curiously asks him what's so funny, so Yuino eagerly reveals that since summer's starting, he'll get to see his girl in shorts that make her cheeks look like they were handcrafted in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Sighing, Akira tells Yuino that he sure is a simple-minded fool to be so happy at a silly thing like that. In response, Yuino fires back that since he doesn't have a girlfriend, he doesn't understand. On that note, Akira looks at Mikoto sleeping next to him and fantasizes about seeing her Nyash in short shorts. All of a sudden, Oka approaches Mikoto and asks her to eat lunch with her. The whole class looks at them as Mikoto turns down Oka, stating that she is skinny maxing, so she won't be eating lunch with her. With that, she tells her not to wake her up in the future. However, instead of being offended, Oka just asks Mikoto if she minds her sitting next to her and eating her lunch. Mikoto tells her to go ahead and goes straight to a place where Eren and Mikasa get married. As Oka starts eating her lunch, Mikoto suddenly wakes up and says that her lunch smells good. In return, Oka reveals that she has a knack for cooking and then offers Mikoto a bite. The boys look in shock as Mikoto lets Oka feed her lunch. Later that day, Akira asks her if something happened between Oka and her. When Mikoto asks what he means, he reminds her of how she was getting fed by Oka. Mikoto informs him that Oka randomly told her that they should have lunch together, and that was it. Hearing this, Akira admits that it made him happy seeing her get approached by other girls in their class. However, Mikoto flatly tells him that she doesn't need friends since she has him. This makes Akira stupidly happy while Mikoto offers him her goo so his mouth can be baptized. That night, Akira dreams of Mikoto feeding him food. Just when his dream is about to make him goon without doing the effort, he wakes up. The next morning, Yuino excitedly waits to see his girlfriend in the sports uniform, but the boys later learn that they have judo indoors, while the girls will have a separate sports class outside. Mikoto participates in a relay race where she ends up tumbling down on her face, with her knee bruised up. The teacher urges her to go to the infirmary when Oka arrives, revealing that she is on the health committee and will take Mikoto to the infirmary. As the girls arrive in the nurse's office, they find it completely empty, so Oka tells Mikoto that she will tend to her. Once she is done patching her up, Oka casually takes a drink out of the refrigerator and gulps it down. This makes Mikoto curious, so she asks her if it's okay to take things from the infirmary. Oka reminds her that she is on the health committee and uses the refrigerator to store her own drinks. With that said, she offers Mikoto the drink, which she accepts. As the girls share a moment together, Oka admits that she wants to be her friend since she's very interesting. However, Mikoto tells her that they can't be friends since she is a lone wolf. Acknowledging her whole Ino act, Oka tells Mikoto that if she ever changes her mind, then she will always be ready to swap friendship bracelets for her. As Oka turns to leave, Mikoto suddenly calls her out in shock, pointing at her bleeding knee. Confused, Oka wonders why she has the same wound as Mikoto, when Mikoto suddenly stands up and slices her own hand. Then, without a word, she beckons Oka closer and tells her to put her spit-covered finger in her mouth. Oka hesitates before quietly accepting her fate. Once the ritual is done, Mikoto tells Oka to look at her hand, which is now bleeding, just like hers. On that note, Mikoto explains that since she swallowed some of her drool, they are now deeply connected. While Oka is completely confused, Mikoto takes her bruised hand in hers and apologizes for hurting her twice. Oka tries to find light in the situation and tells Mikoto that this is probably a sign that they need to be friends, but Mikoto refuses, stating that she is not the only one who is connected to her through spit. Closing the distance between them, Oka asks if she is talking about Akira, surprising Mikoto. She then reveals that she caught them yesterday when she was walking home. With that, she admits that that was the moment when she became fascinated by her and just wanted to befriend her. Now excited, Oka asks Mikoto if Akira's body reacts the same way as hers after swallowing her spit. After confirming it, Mikoto reveals that her physical and emotional state gets transferred to Akira, which allows them to communicate without using words. While Oka is completely intrigued by her, Mikoto turns to leave, announcing that she can find her interesting, but she doesn't need any more friends. With that, she tells her to treat her wound carefully. Later that day, as Mikoto feeds Akira her mouth fuel, he suddenly begins to wince in pain, which makes Mikoto instantly apologize to him. The next morning, Yuino tells Akira that he is going to ask Oka to have lunch with him. Confused, Akira reminds him that they're secretly dating, so he can't ask her that, but Yuino claims that he will telepathically communicate since they have established a connection by bumping uglies. As lunch break rolls in, Yuino looks at Oka like he eats crayons for breakfast. Suddenly, Mikoto gets up and Oka soon follows after her. In the hallway, she tells Mikoto to lick her spit so she can understand why she wanted to befriend her. After she does that, Mikoto freaks out, stating that this is some gourmet stuff right here. In response, Oka reveals that she was imagining kissing Yuino right before she asked her to swallow her spit. Suddenly, she asked Mikoto if she hasn't yet kissed Akira. Mikoto remains quiet, prompting Oka to back off as she then unveils a bento and reveals that she made too much food. Before Mikoto can reply, her stomach roars, causing her to admit that before her, she was the boss of skipping food, but now her body automatically craves her food. In reply, Oka happily states that they should have food together from now on, and even if they fail to become friends, she still wishes to get along with him. In the meantime, Yuino rants to Akira that he wants to eat lunch with his 4 feet tall baddie with a fatty when the boys suddenly find Mikoto and Oka eating lunch together. As Akira watches Mikoto from afar, he cannot help but think that his girlfriend is as mysterious as ever. The next day, the boys have a football class where the coach tries to find a Japanese Ronaldo, but realizes all his boys are bad eggs. As Yuino goes to fetch the ball, he ends up discovering a hidden spot which allows him to peek at the girls in their swimsuits. Meanwhile, Oka secretly cheers for Mikoto, realizing that she would trade her ugly boyfriend just to have a lick of Urabe's armpits, while Yuino thirsts over Oka and her hot body. After getting enough gooning material for the next 4 years, Yuino returns, revealing to the boys that Oka definitely has big naturals. Once it's Akira's turn, the lads tell him to go check out Mikoto, so he does his best to botch his attempt at throwing the football when suddenly, he sees Mikoto. Akira's heart starts beating, and in the end, he ends up tripping over the ball, missing out the chance of smashing his own girl. Later that day, Mikoto deep throats a popsicle, which prompts Akira to ask her if that was her last swing class. Mikoto reveals that they'll have a couple more after summer break. The two arrive in a park where Akira starts sniffing Mikoto, realizing her sweat is tantalizing his family jewels. Suddenly, he catches her looking at him with a cold look, and before he knows it, she's ready to attack him when it suddenly begins to pour. Since both of them don't have umbrellas, they decide to take shelter under a tree. Akira waits for the rain to stop when suddenly, Mikoto clings on to him, making him realize that rain can make a good wingman. He then asks her if she is wearing any perfume today, but Mikoto reveals that she just got to clean her stank kitty in the swimming pool. Then tasting her body, she tells Akira that her sweat tastes like the sea. Now curious, he asked Mikoto if she likes going to the seaside. She confirms, revealing that she goes to the beach every year since she loves to swim. With that, she beckons him to give her arm a lick so he can taste the sea on her body. Akira quickly jumps to lick her arm, hoping one day he'll make it down south when he imagines her wearing a bikini. So he asks her if she would like to go to the beach with him during summer break. After a pause, Mikoto smiles and tells Akira that she would love to. Once the summer break begins, Akira and Mikoto continue to meet up so he can have his portion of Mikoto's drool. During one of those days, Akira tries to ask Mikoto out on a date, but once she is done feeding him spit, she'd just ride off into the sun, leaving his 3 inches hard as a rock. One day, he finally decides to take his balls out of his purse and tells Mikoto that they should consider going to the beach now since they're on holidays. In reply, Mikoto reveals that she is going to stay with her father, which bums him out until she announces that they can plan their trip next week. Once she leaves, Akira celebrates like he managed to survive the Black Death, and when he returns home, his sister instantly points out that he looks rather happy. That night, Akira has a dream where he was running with Mikoto, her bouncers bouncing in the wind while the sun shone on them. Suddenly, she transforms into a mermaid and gives him a preview of her milk factory. Finally, the long-awaited day arrives and Akira races towards the station where he finds Mikoto standing. When she turns to greet him, Akira finds her completely tanned and wonders if she can use the N-word pass. Meanwhile, Mikoto informs him that since her dad lives near the beach, she got sunburned. The two quickly board the train and Akira cannot help but stare at her new skin in excitement. They finally arrive at the beach, where Mikoto leaves to change clothes, while Akira realizes that he is in heaven after seeing so many huzzs. Finally, his own girl arrives and Akira is hooked on her from the second he lays eyes on her. Mikoto breaks the silence and asks him if he wants to eat something. Before he can tell her that he wants to eat her cake, she takes him to a store where they have noodles. After getting fed by her, they return to the beach for a swim when Akira realizes that his girlfriend is quite good at swimming. She further reveals to him that she has been swimming since she was in diapers, but for him, she will gladly slow down. Once they resume, Akira decides to make it fun for him by staring at Mikoto's body from under the water. Mikoto suddenly stops and finds Akira trying to eat her taco with his eyes. When she asks him what he is up to, Akira fumbles and says that he was just admiring her Peru. Mikoto then reveals that she usually doesn't wear it during swimming, but since she accidentally got an outline of her scissors imprinted on her, she decided to make it a fashion statement. On that note, she flaunts her curves to Akira, which ends up giving him a major nosebleed. As his beans turn into a beanstalk, Akira quickly turns away and tells Mikoto that he is swimming ahead. Later that day, as the couple boards the train to go home, Mikoto mentions how she had a lot of fun. When Akira struggles to reply to her, Mikoto decides to find out how he feels on her own. After putting his spit in her mouth, her nose starts to bleed. Akira smiles and reveals that he has gotten excited after seeing her tan line with the scissors. After hearing that, Mikoto shockingly asks him if he wants to see it again, when he shyly tells her that he does want to see her tan line again. Mikoto reveals that he can have her private show again next year. A few days later, Akira goes shopping. While he is browsing through some books, he is greeted by Oka, who claims that fate has brought them together. Since it's the last day of summer break, they decide to have ice cream together. Akira is reluctant, but Oka grabs his arm and states that it's not every day they run into each other. Arriving at a cafe, Oka gives him an ice cream and a stiffy at the same time. While she yaps about something, Akira cannot help but think about how juicy Oka's oranges are. He then tells her that if Yuino finds out he is eating ice cream with her alone, he might get angry. But this makes Oka laugh as she tells him that whenever she is alone with Yuino, he is always praising her, so he won't mind if he finds them hanging out. However, what catches Akira's attention is hearing Oka use Yuino's first name. So out of surprise, he asks her if they are already on first name basis. Oka then tells Akira that she has done splits on Yuino's joystick, so of course they are on first name basis. Upon hearing this, Akira imagines Mikoto calling him by his first name, which somehow fills him with sadness, knowing that she would never call him by his name. Suddenly, Oka whispers his name in his ear, which sends blood down his happy place. Flustered, he asks what she is doing, and Oka replies by tasting his ice cream and reveals that he was definitely thinking of his crush, addressing him by his name. The next day at school, as Akira and Yuino catch up, he catches Oka walk past by them and asks Yuino if his girlfriend said something to him yesterday. When Yuino says no and asks him something happened, Akira decides to keep his mouth shut, noticing his tan. Yuino changes the subject and asks him if he went to the beach. Akira reluctantly tells him that he went there with his sister, which prompts Yuino to call him a hopeless loser, which ticks him off. Meanwhile, Oka and Mikoto sit together for lunch when she informs him that she ran into Akira yesterday. Now intrigued, Mikoto looks at Oka, who reveals that they talked about first names and she is sure that Akira wants her to call him by his government name. When she receives no reply from Mikoto, Oka takes matters and saliva into her own hands and finds out that Mikoto also wants Akira to call her by her name. After being relentlessly teased by Oka, Mikoto tells her that it's none of her business and turns to leave, leaving Oka thinking that she would 100% sacrifice Yuino for a crazy baddie like her. Later that day, as Akira and Mikoto walk back home, he asks her if she would like to take a break in the park. Mikoto agrees and Akira announces that he is going to get them some drinks. By the time he returns, Akira finds his girl fast asleep on the bench, seeing her sleep peacefully at a random spot. Akira quickly realizes that Mikoto has definitely never encountered a diddler in her life. When he tries to wake her up, he realizes that Mikoto is completely out. Akira's attention then shifts to Mikoto's earlobes, and without thinking he calls her by her name, which breaks her out of her sleeping spell. Smiling shyly, she asks him what's up, and he nervously hands her the juice, stating that he didn't want her drink getting warm. As they sit in silence, Akira can't help but think how Mikoto looked when he called her by her name. So he tries to say her name again, but ends up tweaking out when he catches her looking at him. That night, Akira recalls Mikoto's smile before going to bed and dreams of taking her picture, where he is able to capture her $1,000,000 smile. The following morning, Akira takes a camera out and later asks Mikoto if he can snap a photo of her. When she asks him why, He reasons with her that since they are dating, he should have a picture of his girl. Understanding this, Mikoto allows him to snap photos of her. As Akira gets ready, he asks Mikoto to flash her pearly whites, but she bluntly shuts him down, stating that it's pointless to fake a smile for a picture. Back at his home, Akira mulls over what happened with Mikoto and gets upset all over again. The next day, Akira waits for Mikoto at the usual spot. After a few minutes, he realizes she is late when he is greeted by his old crush, Hayaka. She asks him if he remembers her, and when he assures her that he does, Hayaka smiles, stating that since they previously worked in the council together, she remembers him well. Now all flustered, Akira struggles to say something in return when Hayaka asks him if he would like to grab coffee with her so they can catch up. However, Akira ultimately shuts her down, revealing that he is waiting for someone today. Understanding the situation, Hayaka bids him goodbye, stating they should hang out once he is free. After she leaves, Akira finds Mikoto hidden, so he asks her what she is doing. Mikoto coldly tells him that since he was chatting so happily, she didn't want to interrupt. As the two start walking together, Akira notices the chilly air coming from Mikoto, who finally breaks the silence and asks him if this was the same girl he liked. Akira tries to tell her that it was all a long time ago, but when Mikoto doesn't respond, he asks her if she would have been angry had he gotten coffee with her. Instead of replying to him, Mikoto feeds Akira her spit wine, which brings him to tears. She then reveals that if he had gone with Hayaka, she wouldn't have been angry, just extremely sad, and the tears pouring out of his eyes are a symbol of that. After hearing Mikoto's confession, Akira admits that when he saw Hayaka today, he thought she was as beautiful as ever, but nearly not as beautiful as the girl he is in love with. A smile plays on Mikoto's lips, which makes Akira's heart beat, so he tells her that if she lets him have a picture of her smile, he will treasure it forever. Mikoto agrees, but when the moment comes, she teases Akira by showing him a funny face. When he whines to her, Mikoto tells him that she can always cut the photo up until Akira smiles and claims that he will always cherish this picture. With that, he safely tucks the photo in his wallet. The following day, Mikoto participates in a race and ends up matching up with Yahima, the school's fastest girl. Oka, as always, comes to hype her up when suddenly Yahima jokingly tells Mikoto that it's no fair that she can keep up with her without any practice. As she invites her to join the track club, Mikoto curtly tells her that she isn't interested. Yahima then takes a detour and asks Mikoto to promise her that she would at least participate in the relay race during sports week. After school, Akira tells Mikoto that he heard she is going to be Yahima's relay partner. When she confirms, Akira admits that it's pretty cool of her to participate since Yahima won the city championship before. Mikoto then reveals that she was even scouted by Yahima to join the track club. Now startled, Akira asks her if she is going to join when Mikoto reminds him that if she does that, they won't be able to walk home together. Overcome with love, Akira tries to feel Mikoto's airbags, but like always, she swiftly dodges him and warns him not to hug her without permission. The next day, Mikoto works hard for the relay race when she is greeted by Oka, who brings her juice. She then asks her how she is doing since she is always dozing off during lunchtime. Mikoto replies that she is fine since she is the one who suggested practicing during lunch instead of after school. Oka eyes her weirdly and tells her that Yahima told her that with proper training, she could have made it to the national team. So instead of using those legs to make her father proud, she is using them to meet her daddy Akira. Startled by Oka's boldness, Mikoto instantly tells her off, but Oka knowingly states that the only reason she isn't joining the track club is because of her boyfriend. Flustered by Oka's accusation, Mikoto flees the conversation to train further. Meanwhile, Akira looks at her from the window, feeling proud of his girl. However, that night, Akira can't help but feel like Mikoto is not just his alone since she is mingling with other students. The next day, during lunch break, Oka feeds Mikoto while discussing how Akira caught a cold right when the sports day is coming. When she asks her if she is sad about Akira missing her race, Mikoto bluntly tells her that it's none of her business. Changing the subject, Oka instead asks if she is going to visit her boyfriend, and Mikoto answers by saying she will go to Akira's place today. Upon hearing this, Oka confides in her that when Yuino got sick, she visited his place, but secretly whispers in her ear what she did that managed to cure his cold in an instant. That evening, Mikoto arrives at Akira's place, where she is greeted by his sister, who shows her to Akira's room. Seeing him react like a clown, his sister instantly realizes what's up and urges Mikoto to take her time. Once she leaves, Akira smiles as he recalls the first time she came to visit him. Mikoto then asks him how he is doing, and Akira admits that his body is not doing well. Sighing, he admits that he wanted to see her bazookas bounce tomorrow during her relay race, which prompts her to give him his usual dosage of drool. However, the moment Akira takes a lick, he finds himself basking in the sunlight. He excitedly tells Mikoto that his body feels great now and announces Mikoto's spit keeps the doctor away. Without saying much, Mikoto takes her leave, and when she comes home, she unbuttons her coat, revealing nothing but a bikini. As the sports day arrives, Oka sees Akira in full spirit and tells Mikoto that she is glad her boyfriend could make it. In reply, Mikoto thanks her, stating that her advice really helped. This makes her recall the time when Yuino was sick and asked her to wear a bikini for him. Oka, being a good girlfriend, instantly agreed and presented her body to him. But when Yuino tried to get naughty, she pushed him, stating that he can look but not touch. Now in the present, Oka asks Mikoto if she warmed Akira's eyes by letting him see her in a bikini. But when she reveals that she just wore a bikini underneath her coat, Oka looks at her with confusion, until she decides to find out for herself by tasting Mikoto's tongue juice. At that moment, Oka learns that Mikoto is just shy. Suddenly, the announcer reveals it is time for the relay race. Oka feels up her milky white thighs and urges Mikoto to put them to good use. As the race starts, Akira looks at his girlfriend and hears a couple of boys talk about how they would offer their grandmothers to God just so they could feel Mikoto wrapped around their necks. Pissed off, Akira is about to feed them a knuckle sandwich when Oka appears and yells at Mikoto to do her best. As Mikoto takes the relay and begins running, both Akira and Oka cheer for her until she manages to score first place. Now surrounded by everyone, Mikoto thanks them for praising her when Yahima arrives and once again invites her to join the relay club. This time, Mikoto considers it but still hesitates to say yes. After school, Akira rushes towards his locker, but is startled to see his name tag ripped off. Shrugging away, he meets with Mikoto and urges her to join the relay club. Confused, she asks why, and Akira admits that hearing her turn down the invitation for him made him happy in the start. But when he saw her perform in the relay race today, he realized she has a special talent. However, when he witnessed her milkers bounce in high definition, he realized that everyone should see this Picasso-level art, and that's why she should join the club. After hearing him out, Mikoto feeds him her drool, which makes Akira break out in a huge smile. Seeing this, Mikoto tells him that he was definitely lying, as she lifts up her skirt and shows him his name tag sticking to her leg. Mikoto then states that it's clear he wants her legs only for himself. That night, Akira dreams of Mikoto giving him the green light to feel her heart protectors. When he wakes up, Akira realizes that he can still feel Mikoto's body. That's when he realizes that No Nut November has started, so he quickly shrugs away his impure thoughts and heads out to the bookstore, where he only ends up finding women with their tatas on full display. Unable to focus on anything, Akira returns to the spot where he and Mikoto usually part ways. As he stares in the direction Mikoto uses to go home, he wonders if she lives nearby. Without anything better to do, he decides to walk on that path and comes across an apartment complex. For a second, he wonders if this is where Mikoto resides, but quickly dismisses the idea. Suddenly, Mikoto arrives on her cycle and asks him what he is doing in front of her apartment building. Since Akira doesn't have a valid reason, he struggles to answer and tells Mikoto that he was just exploring a new neighborhood. As he turns to leave, Mikoto invites him to have tea and Akira instantly jumps on the opportunity. Shortly after that, they enter an elevator, and Akira finds out that she lives on the 10th floor. After arriving at her apartment, he learns that Mikoto is home alone today. As she takes the coat off, her badonkers quickly say konnichiwa to Akira, which makes him recall his dirty dream. Snapping out of his dirty thoughts, Akira thinks that he sure is lucky to see Mikoto's room. His attention then shifts to her bed as he decides to take a long sniff when Mikoto arrives and asks him what he is doing. Akira quickly lies, stating that he was just checking the sheets. Mikoto then serves him tea when he realizes that it's going to rain outside. As they sit together, sipping tea, she asks him if he wants to talk to her, and in his mind, Akira thinks about how he is dying to have a conversation with her show-stopping sweater puppies. As it continues to get darker outside, Mikoto gets up to switch on the lights when the thunder catches her off guard, and she ends up falling on Akira's lap. After checking up on her, Akira realizes his hand is barely inches away from her melons. Just when he is about to grab them, Mikoto raises her scissors, demanding to know what he was trying to pull. When he tries to apologize, Mikoto demands to know why he was really lurking around her complex building. Akira finally comes clean, revealing the dream he had. After hearing everything, Mikoto becomes Helen Keller and starts feeling her like it's Braille. Then, coating her finger with her mouth juice, she orders Akira to taste. And when he does so, tears start welling up in his eyes as Mikoto asks if her woobies feel the same as they did in his dream. Akira admits that they're much better, which makes Mikoto say that he can have a feel if he likes. Now flustered and excited, Akira starts yapping about how it's important to fight the urges when Mikoto tells him that she will just count to 3, and if he doesn't grab her girls like his life depends on it, then it's his loss. Once the countdown begins, Akira quickly places his hand on her chest and starts to examine them. Suddenly, overcome by excitement, Akira ends up pinning Mikoto down, making her panic while he continues to lick her ear and moves to her lips when he finds her crying. Realizing what he has done, Akira backs off and apologizes repeatedly for letting his feelings get the best of him. Mikoto tells him that she isn't upset, but Akira, racked with guilt, ends up leaving her running out in the pouring rain. The next day, as Mikoto and Oka finish their lunch together, Mikoto tells Oka to have a taste of her drool. When she does, Oka's entire body heats up like a Samsung phone. Curiously, she asks Mikoto if something happened between her and Akira, and Mikoto admits that yesterday they did something which made her feel all freaky. Instead of prodding her for details, Oka assures her that love makes one's body feel different, so it's only natural that she feels that way. Hearing this, Mikoto asks Oka if she felt something like this with Yuino, and Oka admits that they are taking things slow, but when she tasted her drool, she was completely fired up. After getting the answer she needed, Mikoto runs off, leaving Oka thinking that something great must have happened between Akira and Mikoto. Later during class, Akira reflects on everything that happened and calls himself a scum for not only making Mikoto cry, but also leaving her in that state. So, the moment he sees her, Akira bows and apologizes to her when Mikoto blankly tells him that she told him yesterday as well that she wasn't angry. As she brings her finger to give him the drool, Akira turns her down, insisting that she give him a slap for making her weep. Hearing this, Mikoto warns him that her slap really hurts, yet even then, Akira tells her not to hold back. Once Mikoto gives him a slap, she tells Akira to feel her ear. When he does that, she begins to cry again. Mikoto then tells him that since he touched her ear, her body has changed. Akira mutters an apology when she assures him that she doesn't mind the feeling. In fact, she actually likes it. With that, she tells Akira that she must endure the pain he is feeling and proceeds to taste his saliva. Now feeling the sting of her slap, Mikoto tells Akira that she willingly let him touch her, so he shouldn't worry any longer. After hearing her, Akira gently holds her face and tells Mikoto that he would hate himself if she were in pain because of him. The next day, Mikoto arrives in class when Akira thinks to himself that her hair is a total mess and she should take care of herself better. Suddenly, Oka arrives and chuckles at the bird nest on Mikoto's head. She then tells her that, as a girl, she should take care of her hair more. Now intrigued, Mikoto later allows Oka to help her out with her untamed hair. Once she is done making Mikoto look like a civilized woman, Oka urges her to keep her hair in pigtails for the day. The moment Mikoto returns to the class, all her classmates rush to praise her for her cute looks. And later, during sports class, the boys talk amongst each other that Mikoto's parents definitely made her with more than just a quick nut. Naturally, this upsets Akira, who blows his steam by running ahead, making Yuino think that he's got raging diarrhea. After school, the two walk together when Akira asks her if she plans on keeping her hair in pigtails. Mikoto replies that if Oka does her hair tomorrow, then yes. After hearing that, he tells her that he doesn't like it, and thinks to himself how it's unfair that everyone else got to see his girlfriend's face so easily while he had to work for it. Without a word, Mikoto unties her hair and asks Akira to mess them up for her. Shyly, Akira does as told and wants her hair returned to its previous condition. Mikoto states that she won't wear her hair in pigtails if he doesn't like it. As she walks ahead, Akira smiles, realizing he prefers Mikoto's messed up hair after all, when she suddenly stops and tells Akira that it felt real good when he had his hands in her hair. The next day, at school, Oka arrives, revealing that she has another hairstyle that she wants to try on her. But in response, Mikoto shuts her down, making Oka curious as she points out that everyone loved her previous hairstyle. When Mikoto refuses to tell her, Oka makes a guess, stating that it must be Akira who was against her looking cute since he is the possessive type. With that said, she quickly gulps down her drool, and when her heart starts to race, she asks Mikoto if something happened between her and Akira yesterday. In reply, Mikoto reveals that her boyfriend did something that felt really good. Oka asks her what, and Mikoto decides to tell her by messing up her hair. With that, Oka comes to the realization that Mikoto has some funny kinks. Later that day, she asks Yuino to hold her head and mess up her hair. When he reluctantly does that, Oka admits that getting messed up by the person she likes feels oddly good. The next day, during lunch break, their classmate named Kitoshi opens shop where he reveals rare pictures of Mikoto with her hair tied up. As the boys flock around him, he states that he's going to be selling this rare merchandise for 300 yen each. Throughout this, Akira burns with anger and realizes why women are choosing bears over men. When Hitoshi asks both Yuino and Akira if they are going to buy this goon fuel, Akira wonders what he should do since he doesn't want to have the same pictures as everyone else. Suddenly, the boys note that Mikoto's stern look resembles a lot like Imai Momoka. Hearing this, Akira asks who this person is, and the guys inform him that Imai is a popular idol. That day after school, Akira has his usual saliva dessert made by Mikoto, and then heads to the bookstore to check out Imai for himself. As he picks the magazine filled with Imai's pictures, he realizes the guys were right about Mikoto resembling Imai. Just when he purchases the magazine, Akira is caught by Yuino, who asks him why he's buying Imai's photos when he can get them for free on Reddit. Akira fumbles to reply and instead hauls out of the store. Returning home, he instantly examines Imai and realizes that while she has nice tatas, Mikoto has more milk storage in hers. He then comes across a picture of Imai smiling brightly and thinks to himself that his girlfriend never smiles like this. Holding the magazine close to his heart, Akira announces that it is now time to color the pages white with his sauce. Meanwhile, Yuino reveals to Oka how the boys were buying Mikoto's picture like they were rare Pokemon cards. With a teasing smile, Oka asks him if he purchased too, but Yuino quickly says that he doesn't need to as he has her. After passing the exam, Yuino then reveals that Akira purchased Imai's magazine since she looks like Mikoto. Upon hearing this, Oka brings the magazine to school the next day and tells Mikoto how her boyfriend purchased the magazine since the idol resembles her. Later on, Mikoto confronts Akira, asking him if he purchased Imai's magazine. When he nervously confirms this, she asks him to show her the magazine right this instant. After he excitedly shows her the collection of photos, Mikoto asks him to point at his favorite picture, causing him to show her a picture of Imai smiling. Seeing this, Mikoto attacks the magazine with her scissors, and once she is done destroying it, she tells Akira that, as her boyfriend, he doesn't need to go on and like other that look like her. With that said, she takes her leave, making Akira realize that Mikoto too can get jealous. A couple of days later, Akira once again ends up in the bookstore and purchases Imai's limited edition photos. He thinks that his girlfriend is just an idiot who can't understand that he is only gooning to Imai because she resembles her. Thinking he is a great boyfriend, Akira steps out with his thirst fuel when he is greeted by a girl with short hair that he fails to recognize until she reveals that she's Hayaka. Startled by her new appearance, Akira blushes a little as the two take a stroll together. Hayaka then asks him how the others are doing since she no longer goes to the same school as them. He informs her that everyone's fine and Yuino is doing better than ever since he has a girlfriend. Surprise, Hayaka asks him what Yuino's girlfriend is like, and Akira reveals that she is built like a Latina mommy. When she asks him if he has a girlfriend, Akira instantly thinks about Mikoto, but ends up telling Hayaka that he is as single as the losers watching this recap. Upon hearing this, Hayaka admits that she thought he had found a girl that has made him forget about her. Now startled, Akira asks her if she knew, and Hayaka confirms his suspicions by revealing that she knew he liked her for 3 years, as he was always staring at the back of her head. Confused and embarrassed, Akira questions Hayaka how she was able to find out, and she tells him that her pencil case contained a mirror which allowed her to see that he was always looking at her. After she is done revealing her side of the story, Hayaka boldly asks Akira if he ever thought about touching her hair. As he fumbles to reply, Hayaka lets out a laugh and apologizes for crossing her boundaries. She then reveals that she recently broke up with her boyfriend, so hearing him talk about how he liked her made her feel good. Upon hearing this, Akira eagerly tells Hayaka that if hearing him talk about how much he liked her back then helps her confidence, then he will tell her just how down bad he was for her. With that, he recalls an incident where a strand of her hair was caught in her chair, so he carefully picked it up and took it home so he could place it in a plastic capsule and goon to it. Realizing he is confessing things that only God could made him confess, Akira quickly apologizes for sounding creepy when Hayaka admits that it's normal since she once took a mug of the boy she was crushing on. As the two sit together, Akira tells her that her boyfriend has to be a buffoon for breaking up with her, which suddenly makes her burst into tears. As she looks up at him with tears and drool dripping down her lips, Akira can't help but think Hayaka looks absolutely gorgeous in this state. Wiping away her tears, Hayaka asks Akira if it would be okay with him, she'd like to continue meeting him. Without thinking, he tells her that if only she lets him drink her drool. When his senses return, Akira quickly apologizes while Hayaka licks her finger and presents it to him. Akira brings his mouth closer and closer to her finger when Mikoto's words start to play in his head, telling him that sharing drool is what makes their bond special. Suddenly, his eyes well up as he realizes that if he tastes another girl's fluids, he might end up breaking the bond he has with Mikoto, and he simply can't afford to do so. On that note, Akira apologizes furiously, stating that his impulses got the best of him when Hayaka bluntly says that she was right about him having a girlfriend. In the end, Akira admits that he now has a baddie that loves him. However, since he had a crush on for 3 years, he ended up getting carried away. After learning this, Hayaka asks him if he has tasted his girlfriend's drool. Akira reluctantly says yes, which makes Hayaka act like a complete homewrecker as she teasingly tells Akira that her drool could have been better. Yet despite the temptation, Akira quietly apologizes to Hayaka, who says bitterly that she understands his girlfriend is now more important than the girl he had a crush on. With that, she asks him to at least reveal the name of his main chick, and Akira tells Hayaka Mikoto's name. Without saying much further, Hayaka takes her leave, leaving Akira confused. Once she returns home, Hayaka reflects on her encounter with Akira and concludes that if they were in their old school, Akira would have totally had her drool. The following day, Mikoto is on her way home when Hayaka calls her and introduces herself. However, Mikoto cuts her off, stating that she knows who she is, which makes the clap like a monkey as she starts yapping about how Akira didn't even recognize her with short hair. Uninterested, Mikoto bluntly asks what she wants. Hayaka smiles and hands her a booklet and states that she should come to their cultural festival on Sunday because Akira will be there as well. With that, she takes her leave. But that night, Hayaka calls Akira to meet with her. When he arrives, she shows him a bruise, revealing that her ex wants her back. But when she turned him down, he gave her the 80s wife treatment. As he becomes angry on her behalf, Hayaka then pleads with him to play her boyfriend at her cultural festival so her ex can think that she is already dating someone else. Despite his reluctance, Akira ends up falling for Hayaka's act and tells her that he'll pretend to be her boyfriend. After thanking him, the ugly bounces away, and once her mission is accomplished, she quickly wipes away the fake bruise. The next day, Mikoto feeds Akira her drool and asks if he has any plans for Sunday. When he nervously tells her that he is going out with Yuino, Mikoto becomes quiet and dismisses her worries, until she has lunch with Oka, who casually reveals that she is going with Yuino to the cultural festival taking place in the girls' academy. Startled, Mikoto informs her that Akira told her that he is hanging out with Yuino. Oka quickly tells her that that's impossible since Yuino promised to go with her to the festival. When Sunday arrives, Akira enters the girls' academy despite feeling guilty for lying to Mikoto. He then takes a look at the booklet, realizing that it's a costume-themed event when Hayaka arrives, dressed like her old self. This shocks Akira, while Hayaka reveals that she couldn't think of a better get-up, so she decided to wear a wig and her old uniform, as a throwback to the past. With that, she grabs a starstruck Akira's hand and leads him ahead. However, seeing how she has latched onto his arm, Akira politely tells Hayaka not to be so clingy with him. As cunning as always, Hayaka sweetly replies that if she doesn't act all lovey-dovey with him, her ex won't believe the act. Elsewhere, Yuino and Oka browse through the festival when Oka announces that she wants to check out the maid cafe. Upon hearing this, Yuino excuses himself and goes to the restroom. By the time he returns, he sees his very own girlfriend dressed as a maid. Seeing her act like his slave for once in the relationship, Yuino's neurons get all fired up until a couple of boys ask Oka for photos. Enraged, Yuino announces he is leaving while Oka is left on her own. That's when she spots Akira hanging out with another girl that's not Mikoto. In the meantime, Hayaka leads Akira to an empty classroom, and when he asks her why they are here, Hayaka asks him if being alone in the classroom with her brings back old memories. A few moments later, Oka arrives and overhears them talking about the old days when they spent time together working on council activities. When Hayaka asks Akira if he wanted to hug her back then, he admits that he did but couldn't. Meanwhile, Oka puts two and two together and realizes that Akira used to have a crush on this stank bum. Back inside the classroom, Hayaka tells Akira that he can now hug her since she is still the girl he liked. He instantly tells her that he can't do that, but Hayaka pesters him, asking if it's because of his girlfriend and whether his love for her was too weak that it died down because he met someone new. With that, she takes Akira's hand, bringing it closer to her fugly face, and says that if he goes out with her, she will grow back her hair. Now tweaking out, he reminds Hayaka that he already has a psycho baddie when Hayaka licks her finger and commands him to taste her drool. Seeing the scene unfold, Oka becomes upset and is about to intervene when a robot quiets her. As she struggles, Oka catches the familiar eyes of Mikoto and realizes that she knows everything. Meanwhile, Akira turns down Hayaka, stating that he can't do it, and in response, she tells him that if he turns away now, he may regret it. Suddenly, Mikoto barges in and tells Akira that he shouldn't run. Startled by her presence, Akira starts worrying when Mikoto announces that they should let Akira decide which pum-pum he wants to eat for the rest of his life. With that, she puts a blindfold on his eyes and states that he just has to guess whose drool he is tasting. Hayaka agrees, and after doing rock, paper, scissors, Mikoto goes first. The moment Akira tastes Mikoto's love fluids, his nose starts to bleed, and he instantly identifies that it's Mikoto's drool. Upon hearing this, Mikoto cuts out the robot costume and reveals to Hayaka that this is the bond that they share. Even without using words, Akira was able to know that she wasn't wearing anything underneath. When Mikoto challenges Hayaka to prove that she can also give Akira a nosebleed, she starts to strip, making Akira realize that he is better than Alexander, the great cause he has two hotties bear for him. As Hayaka brings her finger forward, she suddenly begins to cry, prompting Mikoto to state that she doesn't need to make Akira taste her drool to know whether they have a bond or not. On that note, she tells Hayaka that she was lying about loving Akira after all. Hayaka struggles to speak when Akira tells her that they should just stop this madness. He tries to console Hayaka by saying that since her relationship just ended, her heart must be confused. After hearing this, Hayaka breaks down, admitting that whenever she has liked someone, they always like someone else, further revealing how her ex was still hooked on his old crush. Out of desperation, Hayaka once again asks Akira if he doesn't like her anymore, prompting him to state that he was really happy when she asked him to be her boyfriend. But the truth now is that he is in love with Mikoto. At that moment, Mikoto shuts him up and then proceeds to taste Hayaka's drool. Her body tingles at the sensation, and she tells Hayaka that her drool tastes sweet. With that, she assures Hayaka that one day, she will find someone who loves her back after all. Her spit tastes like it was made from the tears of angels. This makes Akira curious, as he wonders if Hayaka's spit really tastes that yummy. He quickly tries to shrug away his dirty thoughts when his blindfold comes undone, and he catches sight of Hayaka and Mikoto's bodies, who has been watching everything, enters the class, revealing to the girls that Akira can see their Coca-Cola-built bodies. Suddenly, Akira is slapped into a coma, and while he is out cold, Oka reprimands Mikoto and Hayaka for removing their plot armor over a dusty broke student. This makes Hayaka laugh as she admits that it was all kinda crazy. Turning towards Mikoto, she confesses that she was depressed after her breakup and hoeing made her feel alive. She also tells Mikoto that seeing her bond with Akira makes her feel slightly jealous, as they're able to guess each other's states with just spit. Later that day, Akira nervously asks Mikoto if she's upset with him. When she questions why she would be, he quietly admits it's because she secretly met with Hayaka. In response, Mikoto calmly says that she once had a crush too, so if he ever asked her to meet, she would probably go and keep it a secret from him as well. Then suddenly turning toward him with her tongue out, Mikoto admits it was all a lie. However, she adds that if the thought of it made him sad, then he shouldn't do things to her that would hurt him if she did the same. Upon hearing this, Akira apologizes to Mikoto sincerely, who in return disappointingly says that he is such a man. As she walks away, Akira thinks how he secretly met with Hayaka, going behind his girl's back, so he really is a man. The next day, Oka pleads with Mikoto to show her how to wield scissors, but as always, Mikoto turns her down, making Oka pout. Changing the subject, she then inquires about Akira, whose eyes were blessed by her hot bod. Flustered, Mikoto says it's not a big deal when Oka flashes a picture that she took of her, seeing herself sitting without clothes. Mikoto quickly tries to snatch the photo while Oka struggles to guard it, claiming the photo is what makes her world beautiful. Now ticked off, Mikoto unveils her scissors and goes nuts. Once she is done, the picture tears into a million pieces, which impresses Oka so much that she lifts up Mikoto's skirt and calls her a naughty girl for keeping scissors in her peach protectors. Later that day, as Mikoto walks home with Akira, he can't help but imagine her bare and realizes that he is dying to hug her. Suddenly, Mikoto stops and tells Akira here comes the airplane, and puts her finger in his mouth. Once he is done swallowing her spit, Mikoto tells Akira that she wants to have his today, but he instantly becomes defensive. So, in the end, Mikoto forcefully shoves her finger in his mouth, and the moment she tastes Akira's drool, she heats up in embarrassment and asks Akira what he is thinking about. Instead of replying to her, Akira runs home, and the next day, when he finds Mikoto sleeping on her desk, he again starts to imagine her without clothes. After school, when Akira eats her drool, his head starts to spin in circles. Unable to contain himself, he ends up hugging Mikoto, who once again unleashes her scissors. However, when she sees that her actions have harmed Akira, Mikoto panics and tells him that they need to patch up his tiny scar or it will leave a mark. As they arrive at her place, Mikoto excuses herself while he waits in her room, now alone with balls blue as Oswald the octopus. Akira begins to sniff Mikoto's pillow when she suddenly returns with the first aid kit. As she starts patching him up, Mikoto admits that her hand has never wavered before, but today she messed up and ended up hurting him. Akira quickly consoles her that it's not a big deal when Mikoto reveals that she had a weird dream that has affected her. When he asks her what happened in the dream, Mikoto tells Akira to swallow her spit to find out. As he does so, his head starts feeling heavy. And once again, he begins seeing Mikoto without clothes. Not wanting to upset his Hello Kitty girlfriend, Akira decides to leave. But Mikoto tries to stop him. With his freak levels spiking, he panics and pushes her away so she doesn't make his 3 inches turn into a Burj Khalifa, only to accidentally shove her onto the bed. Feeling guilty for being rough, he tries to check on her but slips, and nearly falls on top of her. In that split second, Akira remembers that Mikoto would probably come at him with her scissors, so he jerks his body to the side and ends up crashing headfirst into the bedstand. Alarmed, Mikoto rushes over, and as she checks on him, Akira admits that if he had actually fallen on her, he might have accidentally hugged her. Touched by his chivalry, Mikoto hugs Akira, stating that she doesn't want him getting hurt because of her. When it's time to say goodbye, Akira asks her about the dream, but Mikoto shyly closes the door on him. And later, when she practices her aim, she realizes she is back to normal and concludes that hugging Akira must have helped her. That night, Akira has a dream where he is surrounded by Mikoto clones who end up squishing him to death. The following morning, Akira wakes up happy and comes to school where he finds Yuino with a bruised forehead. When he inquires what happened, Yuino reveals that Oka wanted to cut his bangs, was acting crazy with the scissors, and ended up hurting him. Akira instantly realizes that Oka is trying to copy Mikoto, but keeps his mouth shut. Suddenly, a classmate named Suwano arrives and tells Akira that the teacher wants to see him in his office. However, when she notices his bandage falling, she rips that away and puts a band-aid. By now, Mikoto is wide awake as she coldly watches Suwano drag Akira away. However, outside the classroom, Akira demands Suwano to return him the bandage. After classes, as Mikoto waits for Akira at their usual spot, her eyes widen as she finds him wearing the bandage that she put on him. Seeing her reaction, Akira tells Mikoto that he wants to put her bandage on his forehead, as he believes that it would heal him a lot faster than ordinary bandages. Just when they are about to part ways, Mikoto feeds him her drool, which prompts Akira to grab her in a hug. Seconds later, he starts apologizing when Mikoto assures him that she wanted him to hug her. With that, Mikoto walks away, making Akira a very happy man. A couple of days later, when Akira returns home, he finds his sister fast asleep. Seeing her drooling face, he begins to blush when she wakes up, causing him to randomly ask if she has a boyfriend. Weirded out by the question, his sister calls him a freak and leaves the room while Akira is left thinking if her boyfriend found her drool-covered face, would he want to smash her on the kitchen counter? Later that day, Mikoto is out shopping when she spots Akira's sister, Yuko, and approaches to greet her. After a brief chat, Mikoto turns to leave when Yuko invites her to have lunch with her in a cafe. As they sit together, Yuko suddenly grabs Mikoto's uniform and gushes about how it feels the same as her uniform. When Mikoto asks what's going on, Yuko reveals that she was in the same school as hers 6 years ago. She then admits to Mikoto that the reason why she asked her out so suddenly was because seeing her in uniform made her all nostalgic. Realizing that Yuko has hit the wall and wants to experience youth through her, Mikoto assures her that's fine. A few minutes later, Yuko asks her if Akira is going out with someone or has someone that he likes. Blushing slightly, Mikoto tells her that she doesn't know and then asks her if she ever dated someone from her school. Yuko admits that she went out with her classmate for a while and then brings up how Akira saw her drooling and asked if she has a boyfriend. She further reveals that ever since Akira asked her that, she has been dreaming about her school days, recalling how her boyfriend at the time snapped a picture of her drooling in sleep. As Yuko apologizes for boring her with her past, Mikoto quietly asks what happened to the guy she was dating. Sighing softly, Yuko reveals that once they went to university, they drifted apart. However, every now and then, she wonders if he still has a picture where she was drooling. With that, Yuko asks Mikoto if she likes someone and Mikoto admits that she does, which makes Yuko wistfully say that she wants to be her age all over again. After their little chat, Yuko hands Mikoto a mochi, revealing that everyone in her family loves it. As she turns to leave, Mikoto quickly introduces herself again, hoping her future sister-in-law would accept her into her home. The next day, the Tsubaki family visits the graveyard where Yuko tells Akira to clean the gravestone of their late mother. After offering their prayers, Yuko announces that until Akira gets a job, she will raise him like he was her son. Startled by this, Akira asks her if she won't get married till then, and Yuko confirms, prompting Akira to say that he doesn't want her to sacrifice so much for his sake. Joining the conversation, their father urges Yuko to find a nice lad and get settled down. However, Yuko reminds them both that they can't even flush the toilet after taking a dump, and that is why she must act mommy till Akira is all grown up. On Monday after school, Mikoto reveals to Akira that she ran into his sister, and they talked about how she had a boyfriend. Flabbergasted by this, Akira admits that this is news to him. When he asks Mikoto if Yuko is still going out with her boyfriend, she reveals that they broke up after graduation. A few moments later, Mikoto asks him if he loves mochi, and Akira reveals that he doesn't, but his late mother loved it. When she asks him about her, Akira informs Mikoto that his mother pieced out from life when he was in diapers, and since he practically grew up without her, he doesn't feel sad when he thinks of her. After feeding him her drool, Mikoto tells Akira that she wants to visit his mother's grave next Sunday, and when the day arrives, Akira leaves home, telling Yuko spontaneously that if she ever finds someone she fancies, he should go out with him without worrying about him and their father. With that, Akira walks out, and on the way, he thinks how this feels all like a date since he is meeting Mikoto in their casual clothes. A few minutes later, Akira is greeted by Mikoto wearing a cute dress. Seeing him fumble, Mikoto reveals that she got flowers for his mom. However, Akira thinks that if she really cared about his mom, then she should let him crack that kitty in the graveyard. On the bus, Akira can't help but wonder why Mikoto is wearing a cute dress, but once they arrive at the graveyard, she reveals that she normally doesn't dress up. However, since she was meeting her boyfriend's mother, she wanted to dress well. Now impressed, Akira admits that he wasn't expecting her to be this thoughtful when Mikoto asks him what his mother was like. Akira admits that he doesn't know much because to him, Yuko was more of a mom as she tended to him all these years. Upon hearing that, Mikoto tells Akira to place a hand on his mother's gravestone. Once he does that, she then asks him to exchange drool with her. Akira quietly follows her instructions, and soon realizes that somehow, this moment felt more intimate than any moment they have had together. The second he opens his eyes, he finds Mikoto crying and realizes his own eyes are wet with tears. Mikoto tells him that while he doesn't recall the day his mother died, he cried a lot. And the reason why he is a happy individual despite losing his mother is because of his sister and father. With that, she reveals to Akira that she wants to become someone who can make him happy as well. On their way home, Mikoto tells Akira that from now on, they will be doing a lot of naughty things. Do you want an emo girlfriend like Mikoto? Comment scissors, and as always, like and subscribe.